Right, so in previous assignment, we talked about Angular, which is a organization library, or let's say this is a framework to help you to organize your code and help you to bring your data from the model to the view, like showing your data on the screen, and also help you to do things like to with the body your data, and help you to bring some functions to the HTML code, like have ngIf, ngFor, allows you to using some logical functions in the HTML code directly. So those are still like a client side. And start from this week, we're going to do the WebMaker 3, which is server side, right? Um, so in last assignment, all our data are still in the model, but they are like the model is still a client side. It's still stored in the local computer, and in the real world, the data is not gonna store in the local computer, in the customer's computer. The data will coming from like the different company, different other server computers. Like if you're going to Google, you're getting data from the Google company, Google server computers. And if you're trying to go to the Facebook, and your data are stored in their computer, right? Like you're getting data from them. So how it works is like basically we have the client side and we have a server side. They are both just computers, right? The server side is maybe just some more powerful computer, but they're just still computers. And every time, like when you try to visit a website, you are just basically sending a request to the server, sending a request to the other company, and like saying like you're trying to log into your Facebook account. You're sending your username and password to the Facebook, saying like here is my username and password, and can you help me to check it? And after they check it over their side, and they're gonna send you back a response. Send a request and they give you a response. This is how your data communicates with in the network, in the internet. Like also when you try to go to a page, like say like you enter your address like m symbol the heroku.app.com, and then by by entering the URL address, it basically sending a request out. Can you just show me this page? And the server going to send you out the whole page, and you can download it and show it on your screen. This is how the real world working. So what we have so far is Angular code. They are all client side code, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna send in that code to our online server, and then every time when the user type in the request, and we're going to like send out the whole application, the whole Angular application, to the user, and the user going to download that code and run it with their browser and show the code. But that code shouldn't have any data. If they need any data, they're going to send a request to us. And if they want to log in, they're going to send a new request asking for permission to log in. If they are trying to create a new website, they're going to send a request. Can you any one request in my account? And then we're going to say yes or no to them, and give them the website they want, or ask them say this website is already exists. Can you try another one? Say like that, right? So everything is request and response. Every time when you need something, when you try to ask a website to do something for you, you're sending a request out to the server. Anything about data, and you just send a request out, and then the server give you back a response. Right. So our job today is to build up the server side, like to create a server side functions there, not functions, just basically set up the whole environment of the server side and make it available, showing your website online. And start from tomorrow, we're gonna talk about how do we move our data from the module to the server. Alright? So we are going to introduce one more library. It's called Express. So we are following the whole environment is following a stacks. It's called a min stacks. MEAN. So it's including four different kind of technologies. Like in here, the min stack A refers to Angular. Like it's just talking about the Angular side stuff. We already talked about this one, right? It's Angular. This is the front end environment, and the E and N here, they are the server side technology. They are Node.js and Express. Node.js. There are two libraries we used to build up our server side, like hosting our data, make it available for to listening for the incoming request. I'm gonna introducing this week. And M here refers to a database, the Mongo database. MongoDB. Right. So we are learning. This is what we are learning right now. It's called min stacks. It's a full stacks. Allows you to build a web application for free. All of them are open source and free softwares. It's really popular to allows you to create a full stacks, like including the front end, back end, and database web application, right? So let's see. Right. So we already learned how to using Angular, like some basic functions of Angular, like to do things, to make things like really organized in the client side, like including the view, the module, and the way we link them together, like the components, those data service, right? Let me show you something here. Yeah, so let's start doing some simple things to set up our server side. We're going to install our server side and deploy our website online right now. And we are going to use the online platform called Heroku. Right, we're going to use this to host our website. It's very easy to use. There's many other options, but I'm just in this class we're going to be using Heroku here. So it's just a platform help you deploy your website. Right. So you will be able to find this assignment 3, webmaker 3 in our assignment part. Right. This is next assignment, which is still gonna have 2 weeks to work on it. And we're going to start from installing the server side and deploy our code to the Heroku. Let's see where we should start. Let me bring the chart here. So we are building up a single page application, and right now, what we have, like we already have our components, like including the user components, page components, website components, and the widget components. Each component has its own HTML code and its own TypeScript code to to build up each page, right? It basically is only one page. Other things are just components, but we can just call them pages. The login page, the profile page, register page, like each page is just one component, and it has its own HTML code and JavaScript code, which is using the TypeScript, an enhanced version of JavaScript, and we have functions inside it, and each functions going to call the functions in the data service. We have client service. We have user client service. We have a page client service. We have the website client service. Right now, we have a lot of arrays inside it. Like in the user client service, we have a user array, and inside we have functions like find the user by ID. We have add new users. We have maybe delete users, or find users by username, find users by credentials. Those are functions which used to modify the data, modify the arrays we have in our data service. And today we are going to start adding one more layers here, adding a server-side technology here. We are going to, instead of having all our data in the user client service tiers, we're going to moving our data to the user service, the server.js. We're going to linking the server side with the client side. So instead of having our data, our array of data in the client service tiers, we're going to move that to a new file. Move that in a new set of the layer. It's called server side. We're going to move our data to there, and we are going to still keep those functions in the client side, but instead of directly modify those data, those functions in the client side is going to sending out a request to the server side, and the server side is going to do the stuff like our client side are currently trying to do, to modify those data, and then sending out a response to the client side saying, I already done the request you sent out, and you can just keep working on it. I'm going to say how we're going to do that, right? So this assignment is basically doing this server side. We're going to have 4 more new files, including the user page, website, and the widget, and move our data from client to the server, right? And later we're going to have a database connected to it. Right now we just still have only have the server side, not including the database yet. Alright, so let's start to do it. We're going to firstly to create a server.js file in the root of the application, and this is going to be our server side code. It has nothing to do with client side. Remember, so the client side and the server side, they are going to be running on different computers. Your client side will be downloaded to your own computers, and running by your own browser. But server side code is running on some computers far from your location. It may be a computer in the Google company, a computer in Amazon, a computer in another city, or even in another country. So your client code shouldn't directly call any function in your server side, because they are in different geolocations. The way to communicate is your client side is going to send out a request to the server, and the server going to run by itself and give you back a response. It shouldn't be directly communicated with each other. Instead, we're going to have a middleware here, and we're going to sending out a request and getting a response. That's the only way they communicate. Right? So let's start trying to do our server-side coding. So here I have my code open here. That's the code from the WebMaker 2, including all my client-side coding. Right? I have my source folder here. Inside here I have my app assessments and environments here, all the files here. Let's firstly try to do the ng-serve here, see if that's still working. Let's go to the localhost 4300. Still running. Just give it a second. It's really slow. Right. While it is running, let's go to the next step. So we're gonna start doing this assignment. On the top of the assignment, it's talking about what this assignment is trying to do. It's just basically saying we are going to focus on creating web services. We are going to create the server-side technologies here using the libraries Express and Node.js. Right. So in here we're going to learn two more JavaScript libraries, or say like actually they're not both libraries. So we are going to first start creating a server.js file, which is going to be our server side. Like right now, all our client side code, they are in the source folder, right? And including all the components, all the services, like they're all in our source folder. It's like seems like it's running right now. Yeah, it's running right now. So I should be still able to do everything here. Like everything's still working. They're all running in my client side, including my components, my services. They are in an app folder. And today we're going to adding the server side code inside this same project, but outside of the source folder. In our source folder, all the code inside it should be our client side code. In here, we're going to create a new file outside of the source folder. We're going to call it server.js. This is going to be the entry point of our server side code, a root file of our server side. Right? So so in here, I already prepared the code to initialize a server side. You will be able to just copy and paste the code here, and I'm just going to recreate it by myself and let you know like what each line is trying to do here. As I said, we are going to use a library called Express. Okay, just search online what is Express. Express.js. Right, so this is a library, also this is a framework using the Node.js to hosting a server side technology, hosting a server running a server. So its job is to allows you to running the JavaScript code without the browser also be able to listening any incoming request and sending out a response. And this is a library allows you to do so. It's including a lot of functions and properties, allows you to easily create a server. Right? So we're gonna firstly import the Express into our project. So I believe we already have the Express inside the package JSON logging, I believe. Yeah, I already have the Express here. It's version 4.16.4 in the package doc. It's installed by the Angular. Angular already installed the Express for us. So all we need to do is in our server.js, we're gonna create a variable called Express, and which is require Express. This is basically we are import the library of Express and create a variable for it, right? And after we have that Express library ready, we are going to create an instance of it to be able to use it, everything inside it. We're gonna say constant app is equal to Express. It's just like how the jQuery working. It's just we just create a new instance of the Express library. Right, so that's the first thing we're going to do. We'll need the Express in our server side to hosting our server, and we're gonna need another library. It's called a body parser. Require body dash parser. So this is a library allows your JavaScript code allows the Express server to be able to parse the incoming data. Like every time when client is trying to sending out some request, and the body parser will be able to help you to parse those incoming requests. Like it will know. So the requests are going to including some maybe some username, some password, maybe including some user object. And the body parser allows us to allows the server to be able to read the incoming request, understand which part is a username, which part is a server is password, and which part is the incoming user, or are you trying to log in? Are you trying to create a new item? The body parser is going to be able to read your incoming request, right? Read your incoming data, to understand which part is which, right? So we're gonna include in that library, and we're gonna have one more library. Actually, we'll say a pair of library. One of them is called HTTP. Request require HTTP. So this is and the constant path is equal to require path. We're gonna have two libraries. One is called HTTP. Another one is called path. So their libraries allows us to create the HTTP servers, HTTP services. Like HTTP, it's just the way, the middleware where that allows you to sending out a request and getting a response. The way the data is communicated between the client and server. We use HTTP to sending those data, sending our request or sending our response. That's a middleware between the client and the server. Right? So those are all the libraries we need to create our server. So you can basically just copy the code I have in the assignment requirements. I already mentioned, I read a lot of comments in here tell you what each line is trying to do here. Basically just give you explanation why we need those libraries, right? And after we have those libraries, we're gonna firstly initialize the body parser. Right? We're gonna turn on the feature of the body parser on our Express. We're gonna app. Remember, app is an instance of the Express. We're gonna say app.use. We're gonna use is a function of the Express. Gonna using the body parser .json. Right? JSON is a data format. Huh? Screen bigger? Oh yeah, sure. Let's make it 28. Right. So we have the Express library, app library, body parser library, HTTP library, and the path library. Those are just libraries we're gonna need. And the first thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna start to initialize our server. We're gonna firstly ending the body parser, initialize the body parser, saying we have a body parser here, and it is going to using the format JSON format. Like JSON is just we already talked about that, right? JSON format is basically like a code like that. It has a key and value pairs into an object. It's including like when you're trying to send in a user, it's just like the JavaScript object, including the property name and the property value. So this is just the way the server is going to getting the data from. Like the client going to sending out a request, and in the request, all the data will be in the JSON format. If they're gonna sending a user object, including the username and the password, then it's gonna be something looks like a user with a username 123 and the password and like a 234. This is like a JSON format. It's just like the JavaScript object. To make it looks more like a JSON format, it actually has quotation marks everywhere. Like it's gonna have the username in quotation mark and the password in quotation mark. This is like a JSON format. It just looks very like a
JavaScript object. So this is very JavaScript friendly, and we're gonna firstly tell the Express all the data coming will be JSON format. So it will be, please be ready to read any JSON format incoming data, and then we're gonna say app use body parser the URL encoded URL extended. Just basically you need to this code here will be always the same. You just need to copy and paste here. This basically is trying to encode the URL path. And then we need to have a code saying after use express the static pass the join underscore double underscore name this. But you don't have to write this by yourself. Just copy my code in the requirement. So in here, it's basically this is trying to point the static path to the dist folder, and it's for the building purpose. So actually, this is not required. Remember, like every time when we run our code here, we are trying to using something called ngserve. Right now, like we'll be able to run our client-side code here, like including all the components, all the functions, everything. But we're hosting in localhost 4200 by doing the ngserve, right? And all our code in our source is in our source folder. And in the real world, we do the ngserve only for testing. Like when the user trying to visit our project, we're not going to like sending all those files to the user. Like that's too much. We're not sending all this code to the user and asking please run this code in your browser. It takes a lot of time. And instead, we are going to minimize all the files into one or two small files. Like for example, like we're gonna remove all the space between them. Also we're gonna compile them into some computer readable format. Like the user doesn't really care about your code. They just need to be able to run this code by their browser. And to do that, we're going to using a command here. It's called ngbuild. So we're going to do ngbuild product prod. So this one is basically prepare your code for the production. Like we have the development and the production. Development is for the developer like us to play around with your code, and after we finish it, we're going to build it, make it ready for the production. And this command here is doing so for you. And after it's done, it's basically going to create a new folder in your code. Oops, I have some errors here. It has some like some strategy checking things here. Checking property name doesn't exist on the type widget. Let's take a look of that. Widget heading. Widget heading. Line 13. Input ID name. Widget and name doesn't exist on the type widget. Let's check it. So in my modules, widget module, it doesn't have a name here. Let's add a name to it. So name is going to be a string, right? Let's try that out again. So let's firstly clear it out. Try to build it again. How still have error here? Name is missing. Name is missing. Alright, so we're gonna fix that. So let's fix that in the easy way because I don't really need a name. Right, let's just did it. So let's use this name here, and also I just did the name I added to the model. Also in the component, in the widget heading here, we're gonna delete this name here. We don't need a name here, just need text and size. Alright, and also we need to remove the name for the image and for the YouTube. Let's get rid of the name. Maybe we can add it in the future, but right now let's just make it easier. Does this have name? I don't think this has name. Yep. Let's just get rid of the name. Get rid of the name of the heading, image, and YouTube. Let's make things easier. So it's basically trying to compress your code and trying to minimize it and trying to compile it, make it like into really small files, including everything the user will need to run the application. Just give it a few seconds. Right, 90%. So it's almost there. So I'm just trying to tell you why we do we need this lines here, because we are going to set up the root folder, like where are you going to to run the code. It's going to be in the all the code will be in the this folder, right? So it's finished, right? So what it's trying to do is it's creating a this folder in your application. On the left here, I don't know if I can make it bigger. Did I make it big? Yep. So it's create a this folder here, and inside here, you see you have a webmaker folders, including everything you have here, including the index file, the main file, the files here are basically all your application in your source folder. You see, it's trying to it compiles your code into really small files, it's something only computers can read. Right? Those files are basically all the things you have in your client side, like what you write, your component, your data service, and your HTML code. They're all in here, but it's just they compiled it to some way only computers can read, and also minimize, remove all the space between them. Right? It's every time when the user needs to download their code, you're just going to download this folder. Right? Just download this folder and those few files inside it, and they will be able to run this code with their browser. All right? So this is why we are going to have setting up connect our server with this folder, because all the code will be in this folder. All right. Let's keep working on it. So let's give me more space on it. Alright, so I added that. And the next stuff we're going to add is called a course. It's called a CORS, called course. It stands for cross origin resource. Cross origin resource sharing. Right? So it's going to be looks like an app.use or use create a function here. It's including a request, response. Next, this is basically setting up. So let me first finish this. It's going to be rest header. So, what does a course mean? It just means like by default, for the safety reason, your server side only allows request from the same domain. Like if you're running your code on the localhost 4200, and it only allows you to access sending a request and give a response from the same location, same like a domain, like a same port. Like it may not be a port when you send your code to the online server, but they only have to be the same location. Like if you're trying to send a request, like from another port, when you're trying to send a request from the localhost 4200 to 3200, it will tell you you're trying to send a request. You're getting a request from another port or another domain. This is not allowed. This is not safe. Alright? So by doing the cross-origin resource share, we're going to be able to tell the server we allows the user to send a request from another port. Like maybe from the localhost 4200, it may be from localhost 2200. So here we are saying access control allow origin. We have a star here. A star basically saying means everything. We'll allow everyone from anywhere to send in our request to us, and we'll be able to get in a request. This is just for test purpose. In the future, we're going to limit that. Like maybe we're going to say, if you're trying to send a request from another server, it only allows you to send a request from the maybe localhost 4200. That's for test. And otherwise, we're gonna block it. But right now, we allows everyone from any other different port to send out a request to us, and we're going to give you a response. Right? So here we're going to have a course set up here, saying we are open for any different request, and we're gonna say rest header. It's not done yet. We're gonna also have the access. I'm just gonna copy from here. It's too long. We have it here. Of course, just copy this few lines here. Yeah, just that's it. So it's basically saying we allows any origin or any different domain. Will allows you to sending out either get, post, put, or delete. We're gonna mention that in a second. But those are just allows any different commands, like either logging, either trying to show how many websites you have. That could allow any commands in any place, right? Basically, this is what we're trying to do here. We're gonna extend that in maybe tomorrow. And next off is we're going to have a port for our server side. Remember, our client side is running on the localhost 4200, and we're going to run our server side in another port. We're gonna run it in the 3100, but we're gonna say process the port, because if we are running our code locally on our own computer, we're gonna run it on localhost 4100. But when we're sending our code, like to the Heroku, into some online platform, it's going to using another port, using their own port. So we're gonna say it's either going to be processed in port or 3100. The 3100 is for the local port. And this process import is for the server port running online by the Heroku. Right? So this basically have two parts here. This one is locally on our own computer. This one is for the Heroku. Right? And we're gonna connect this port with our Express. So it's gonna be app set. I'm gonna set the port is equal to this port variable. Right? Just all I'm trying to do here is just set up. It's going to be all the same when you're trying to create an Express server, right? So basically all this code can be found in their getting started here. Like they have a guide here. You just copy and paste all the lines they have here. It's basically trying to explain the same thing. If you're interested in know more about it, you can basically read through everything here. All right, and I'm just trying to just getting the code they have there and try to explain it a little bit. And then we're gonna create a HTTP server. It's called constant server is equal to HTTP the create server. Right now we are creating a server and then using the Express. So we're gonna pass in the app to it. Right, and we need two more things. The first thing is we're gonna catch all the routes and the retrieve index. Let's copy this to here. So this one, like it's basically setting up the how do I say it? It's setting up the home page of your application. It's going to be the index.html file in the dist folder. It's an index.html file in the dist folder we have here. Like if the user trying to visit some weird page, we're going to navigate him back to the index page. Like you're going to talk about that in the in the future, right? This is a bit hard to explain. And also we have the listener here, like a listen and incoming request, like a server listen. And at a port, the port is defined here, right? It's defined here. It's either 3100 or some online port. And then we are done for this page for this file here. Let's just have a server.js and including those setup, right? It's basically just some basic setup of it. And to run the server-side code, we're not going to do the ng-serve or ng-build. We're going to using the function called node. Node is refers to the Node.js. Node.js. So this is a this is a library of JavaScript. So what Node is trying to do is allows you to run the JavaScript code without browser. This is the only thing Node is trying to do. Like usually we have our JavaScript code down and we run it in our browser, right? Like we can run it in our console or in our page, and to do like a console log, to do a 1+1. But our computer itself, it cannot run JavaScript code. So we need a Node library. It allows you to run your JavaScript without the browser. That's it for Node. Right? So Node is only thing Node trying to do is allows you to run your code without the browser. And here we're going to using Node to run this server.js file. We're trying to using Node to run our server.js file. Like without the Node will be able to run this code without the browser, because to hosting a server don't need a browser. And here it's telling me an error saying reference error, body parser is not defined. That's because we haven't installed the body parser. The Angular didn't help us to install that. It only helped us to install the Express, but we still need to install the body parser. Did I have typo here? Oh yeah, maybe it's just because of typo. Let's try it again. Node server.js. Oh, actually, yeah, it's already installed for us, right? I think it's already in here. If you search for the body parser, yes, it's already inside here. I just had a typo here. So when you do the node server.js, it's gonna say running on 3100. Because of this one, it's console log here. It's saying your server is running on the localhost 3100, and that means your server is working. And if you want to stop the server, just type Ctrl+C for the cancel, and it's gonna stop it. It's say no server again to run it again, and it will be able to be using to listening any request and give out a response. Right? So your server.js is basically it's just done after you copy everything I have here. Yep. And then we have some few others set up for, here. The first thing we're going to do is find and open the Angular JSON file in your project and change the auto path into auto path list. So what I mean here is go to your Angular JSON file here. There is a one property called out path here. It's saying dist webmaker. What does that mean? It's like every time when you do the ng build, it's going to put all your output into the dist folder and the website folder here, webmaker folder here. And I want you to get rid of this webmaker folder because I don't think this is something we need. We just can put all our code directly in the dist folder instead of webmaker. It is the webmaker, the index.html. So we're gonna remove this webmaker, which is just gonna have a dist here. And every time we're trying to do the ng build, it's gonna directly put this code into this folder instead of like in the webmaker folder, right? We don't need this webmaker folder inside it. And then, like every time when I do the ng build, the dash product, it's going to directly put our code in this folder, and there's no webmaker folder anymore. We don't need that. And next step is to create a file called a proc file in our project, and write down web node server.js. I'm gonna copy that, and we're gonna create a file here. Call it proc file. And inside here, we're gonna put web node server.js inside here. Did I name it correctly? So proc file and right. So what this line is here trying to do is this is not part of our server side or client side. This is just required by the Heroku, right? It's basically saying the Heroku. When you're trying to run my code, please do a node server.js. Like remember, I was talking about like node server.js is trying to host our website, host our server side code, right? So we're trying to tell the browser, we're trying to tell Heroku, please run on the server when you receive when you're trying to run my code. This is basically this proc file trying to do. And the next step is we're gonna remove /dist from the git ignore file. We have the git ignore files in here. We're gonna remove this /dist from it. We're talking about the git ignore. It's basically trying to tell the GitHub every time when we're trying to git push, please don't push everything I mentioned here. In here we mentioned please don't put the dist folder, but actually right now we want to push the dist folder, so we're gonna remove it from the git ignore. Alright? And that's it. Everything you need to do here. Right now you can start to create a new account in your Heroku. Let me make sure everything is correct. Right now, right now I just did a ng build again, and there is no webmaker folder anymore. All the files are directly in this folder, and this is what I expect. So if I do a node server, and if I try to go to localhost 3100, and it also runs my code. Like you see, everything is still working, and you may not be able to notice the code we are running right now is not the code in the source folder. That is code in the dist folder. Those minimize the file here. There's actually no any difference. But we're just running the code in the localhost of 3100. We're not doing the ng serve. We'll still be able to run the code because we're in the server.js here. We're saying, remember like what we did here is like if a user trying to send out a request, if that's not request any data, and basically something like localhost 3100 with something random, we are going to navigate him back to localhost 3100, and the file here is index.html. We're basically saying get everything, get the start here. Start basically means everything, and then we're going to navigate him to the this folder index.html, and index.html is basically our login page, like the home page of application. We define it in our app routing TS here, right? Like home page is a login component. So it's going to be always like when you go to the localhost 4100, it's going to run the code we have in this folder index.html here, which is going to our main page. It's app root, and app root going to have the run the code all the code inside here. This is some like minimize everything inside it. You don't have to worry about it. Just when you do the ng build, it's going to compile your code and put that into these three files: the main.js and the polyfile.js and the runtime.js, right? So all the things here. Let's talk about again like what we did here. We'll create a server.js and just set up everything, and we remove the we change the auto path here. Our anchor.json, I change the auto path, remove the folder inside here, and in the ignore, we remove this folder inside here, and we added a proc file saying node server.js no server.js. This is for the Heroku, and that's it to set up everything. And the key point is to set up the server.js, and including just some like only 30 lines of code. Basically, we talk about we're going to using Express. We're including the body parser, HTTP, and the path library, and initialize the body parser using JSON, and setting up across origin resource sharing. Talk about like if someone trying to send a request from localhost 4200 to here, we'll allow to it. Some from other different. If it's someone trying to send out a request from any other port, we'll allow to it. Just that's it for the course. It takes like 10 lines, and other things just setting up the port. Port going to using 3100. If you don't want to use 3100, just change the 3100 into any numbers you like. All right, so 3300, 3100, or maybe just 8800. And just 3100 is just like some default one. You just change the number, and it's gonna hosting your website, hosting your server in another port. That's it. So that's it for your server side. You see, like we'll be able to visiting our server side code by go to localhost 3100, and right now we are going to set up our Heroku. All right. So if you just Google Heroku, and we have here Heroku Cloud Application Platform. Click that, and what you need to do is going to sign up account here. All right, sign up account here. This is going to be our platform we're hosting our website, including your first name, last name, requires your email, and basically that's it. And we already have an account here. Let's log in with that, and you see like here are all the application I'm hosting on it, including like the some mSymbo website. I have two. Remember, we have two versions of the website. We have some. I have some asset web, like all of them. And right now, let's create a new one for the web maker. So let's create a new one here. Create a new app. Feel free to give it any name you like, but it standard allows duplicate name. For example, if I create a web maker here, and then you will not be able to use web maker anymore. Like web maker is not available, but you can using something like maybe web maker, web dash maker dash, like maybe with your own initial, like mine, like -1SW, then it's going to be available because they don't allow us a duplicate app here. So let's create app here. And after you create an app, it's going to be look like this, including some overview, like some resources. You can take some time to take a look of everything. But right now we're going to link this with our code, with our GitHub. Right? So let's firstly push our code to GitHub. We have our server running. Let's Ctrl+C to cancel it, and we're sending our code to GitHub. So git and dot git commit server side setup, and push our code to the GitHub. Git push. Right. Before you do the git push, don't forget you need to do the git. You need to do the ng build -- product. Right. You need to do that. Make sure you have that this folder here, and then do the git and git commit and git push. We want to push that this folder into our GitHub. So you will be able to go to your GitHub to checking you have that this folder inside there. That's very important. Maker, you should be able to see that this folder inside here. That's going to be our production code. Our code really showing to the customer, showing to the client, to the other people, right? So make sure you have this folder inside here, and also have server.js here, I have proc file here, right? So let's go back to the Heroku app, and in here we're going to choose the GitHub here. Remember here we have a GitHub, and you can link it with your GitHub. I already linked it with my GitHub here, and I will be able to search like any repository I have. You just click search, have a list of them. I want to link this with my webmaker so I can search web. Webmaker is right here. Connected with it. Connect. So this is connected with my webmaker, and I want to enable the automatic deploys here. That means like every time when I push some new code to my GitHub, it's gonna be automatically refresh my code here in Heroku. It's gonna be using my newest code in here. Every time when I upload some new code, I want it to automatically deploy it. And after you click the enable the automatic deploy here, please click the deploy branch here. Choose a master here and click deploy branch. We want to deploy the master branch. And that's it. It's going to start reading your code and trying to building your application online. Trying to install all the dependencies, installing node modules, including all the packages we have. Remember, like when we send our code to the GitHub, then including the ng modules folder, right? We have the modules folder inside here, like node modules, using a lot of packages. It's not sending to the GitHub and not sending to the Heroku, so the Heroku going to download it by itself. Did I just sign out? Let's log in again. Webmaker SW, where is that? Here. Does it finish it? After it's done, you will be able to see the overview here. See, this one is built successfully and just now. And if you just click open app here, oops, I'm getting an application error. If you're getting error, you will be able to check in the logs here. More view logs will be able to tell you what's wrong with it. Seems like something is wrong. Let's try to restart it and see what's wrong with it. Right, I'm getting error saying cannot find module express. Interesting. Cannot find express for me. I actually have the express here. Why it cannot find the express? Well, if this happens to you, you can ask me to help you to fix that. Because sometimes it may be just because of the Heroku it was stupid, make some mistake here, but it's really easy to fix. We are going to mode, run the console. I'm gonna ask it to install it for me. npm install express for me. Run this. If that happens to you, like something wrong, make your application not running, you can ask me to help you with that, alright? Maybe it's still missing more than Express. Maybe it doesn't have the body parser or something else, but we're gonna install it one by one. Oh, I think I'm running the wrong. Yes, I think it's the same. It's the correct one. Right. So we just ended the Express. Let's try it again. Still getting error. This time it's saying. Still not working. That's weird. Let's try to do it again. Restart it. Cannot find module Express. That's weird. Let's try it. Let's take a look of it. Let me see how do I fix it. I have my Express inside this file. Close this. Go back to the Heroku. Webmaker SW. Let's try to run console again. Try to do the npm install. Express. Yeah, I have my Express here. That's weird. There's no any issue, but I cannot run it. Let's try to do a deploy again. Seems like it's fine, but when I try to open app, still not working. Right, I need some time to working on that, fix this, but basically that's it. After you done the deploy and link this with your GitHub, and when you click open app, you should be able to see your application here. And this is going to be, the URL here going to be a URL for your application. Well, mine is web-maker.sw.herokuapp.com, and yours should be your whatever your project name, it should be showing here, and .herokuapp.com, right? You can firstly try if that works for you. And mine, I think, is just some Heroku issue. I'm gonna fix that and let you know what's wrong with it and how did I fix it. And I can stop the video right here and I'll try to fix it first, and I'm gonna talk about that again, right?